So I've been waiting for about the last 20 minutes for my TCP dump to do something, and I figured, well, let's try something a little different. I fired up a browser window, and then I fired up my other client, and I nmapped myself. And what I noticed was this. So this is my client. Let's do hostname I again. I'm 140. I bounced some packets off of my target using Nmap from the other end, and it used port 139, which I thought I had blocked. Now, what I did really here, right here, is create a logic error. So it's been filtering for not these other ports, but also specifically for 139. And if 139 is not happening, then it doesn't catch anything. So what I need to do is actually add the not in here. So it'll catch the other things. So not port 139. Let's see. And I don't want to block off my own subnet. That's okay. So I'm going to try this again. And I'm also going to see about generating some other traffic. Go to some web pages and see what shows up. This is we keep going. This could take quite a while. So don't expect to do this a lab in 20 or 30 minutes. It simply is not going to happen. So I'm back. One of my last TCP dumps actually froze the computer. I had to reboot the VM, and unfortunately, I've lost all of it. All the logs I lost, everything is gone because I had to reboot the VM ungracefully. Thus, the bash session was not ended correctly. Thus, the bash history of that session is lost. Unfortunately, I could actually do history. And I can see the last thing I did was, I can't even see the apt-get installs that I did. So what I'm going to have to do is reboot this I'm going to have to restart this process manually. Okay, so when I left this, I had filtered on ARP at layer 2. I had filtered the link local IPv6. I decided on the basis of something in the instructions here to also go ahead and filter IPv6 multicast, which is FF02 : whatnot. I'm also getting the beginning and the end, the 224 and 239 000/8 IPv4 multicast ranges, and DNS, and DHCP, and BootP, and NetTime, and NetBIOS. So let's see what's left. I'm not filtering port 80. I'm not filtering port 443 yet. We'll see what happens. The other thing I could do is I could try this Nmap scan again. This is so, and let's see. See. Oh, and I remember I filtered some Google stuff. 35 224 and 35 240 224 222. So let me add those. I captured some packets. I found some packets. I dropped some others on the basis of the kernel. So let me scroll up a bit. In fact, you can see a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of stuff coming from 140 using various ports. Notice that a lot of these ports are on the high side. 110, 111, 135, and then there's some in the high order ranges and then some lower. Port 80. Now, I could probably go on like this all day. Um, uh, oh, of course. Let me find that. And not port. Made that mistake before. Boom. Now what I want to do is ping. See what happens. 31.141. I'm going to go for 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Boom. Let's see what that looks like. See, I've got some echo requests, echo replies. So I can, by filtering some of this other stuff, that if it's happening, we don't want to see it. If it's not happening, the filter doesn't really hurt. And I'm also, let's see, you go there. Let's try something else. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start a new terminal. And I'm going to do sudo apt get install Glances. Glances is a program that I have used that I like using, honestly, to allow me to watch what my system is doing at the command line. And notice a whole bunch of stuff has just happened as it was pulling down all that information. The reason I'm doing this is that I also want to, once I install Glances, I want to run it and figure out why my system was destabilized last time. I was running a TCP dump session at the same time I fired up Firefox, and I want to know if Firefox pegged my utilization. So 91, 189, 20, 92. Now, the reason I'm not just closing off port 80 and port 443 is that while I tend to trust, actually I tend to trust port 443, but not completely. I don't trust port 80, which is why I don't want to consider it part of my baseline. If someone is going to use port 80 against me, I want to know about it. Pause this here.